Well, hello everybody. I'm going to just walk you through how to put a DCC decoder in a brand new Kato locomotive. Uh, don't need a soldering iron. This ain't even going to take but maybe 10 minutes. Take the lid off, set it to the side. Take the bubble wrap out, set it to the side. Take your locomotive out carefully and gently. Alright. Take this little plastic piece Kato likes to put on the bottom of the fuel tank off. Sit down on top of the box like so, where just the very front of the locomotive sitting there. Let me pick it up, turn it to the side. You just want that snow plow and front steps. That's it. Alright. Pick up the box, drop it. Oh, that came off first one. Okay. Body, pop right off. Alright. Next step. See that nice printed circuit board at the top? We just wiggle it backwards. Nice and light. Alright. Once it reaches those stops, you pick up on it a little bit, like so. Pull it back again. That whole circuit board just comes right out. New decoder right there. Alright, I like to write down, I don't know how well you can see that, the road number and unit number of the locomotive I'm about to put the DCC decoder in, and that particular reason I'll explain in a minute. You take your new decoder out. The front is going to have the contact. Unfortunately, the PC boards that come with them, it's the same thing. There's a little motor tab coming up from the bottom. That one there you want to put your thumb on, hold it flat. The other one on the other side pops out a little bit. Just let it lay, because it's going to go where it needs to go. It's that one that doesn't like to stay under the contacts. Put your front board in, slide it up, slide down, your contacts in. Check the other side, contacts in, well, on. Alright. Slide your PC board up. Well, there's one step I forgot to mention. Whenever putting a DCC decoder in a locomotive, if you got Kapton tape, that's great. I like to use liquid electrical tape instead, because I can really make sure that there's no way that anything can make contact. Alright, now let me get this back in here. Alright, so we slip our front contacts in, slide it up just a little bit, make sure that motor contact stays underneath that tab. Get it on the frame. Once it's on the frame, make sure that's still underneath of there. Alright. And you take from the back, press down, push up. Done. That DCC decoder is in there. I've only been filming for 3.5 minutes. It's in there. Done. You can pop the shell back on just by sliding it on and just pressing down. Now, I've done this a few times already, trying to get this video done right. I couldn't find the right angle on the camera, so I automatically know that this fuel tank, even when you get the shell back on, you got to really press to make sure it stays up there, or else it'll derail this thing every time. And that's it. Complete decoder install on a new Kato. Now, let me pop this back off of here. Oh, always save your DC boards. I know that PC board, you might think, well, I can get rid of it. But the truth is, if you ever wind up with a mechanical problem in this locomotive, you'll think it's a DCC decoder problem. 9 times out of 10, it's a mechanical problem. You could test that by simply plugging in a DC power pack on a loop, replacing that decoder, well, that PC board back in for DC operation. And if the jarring and the shuttering and everything else is still there, it's not a DCC issue, it's a mechanical issue. It's an easier way to diagnose. And since I'm running DC right now, even though I do have a DCC system, I'm putting the DC board back in. So I'm gonna pop that back off, slide that back just like we pretty much walked through. That'll come right back out. Make sure that your tab stays down. Oop, I'm still on the phone. Tab stays down. You grab out your PC board. It's easier to tell on this which way's front because the light bulb's just shorter. And yes, those are two LEDs on there, but on the DCC board as well, they're just really, really small. All right. Come on. What's it? This thing trying to... No, just wasn't in line. Okay. So now it's up there. Press down, push up so it goes in the little slots in the back. That's the hard part. There we go. DC board's back in. And these LEDs stick out a long ways. But this little white thing on that DCC decoder there and there, those are actually lights. And the little loops that you see are for adding more lights to the decoder later. So it's a pretty nice little setup on the NCE board. But like I said, I'm running DC right now, so I'm just going to leave the DC board in and save the decoder for later. I've already got this programmed, CV'd out and everything else, and I figured why not do it, because I've had it in 3 times already, and it's just one of those things. I've been trying to make this video 3 different times. 3rd time's a charm. Well, 4th time's a charm. All right, so slide the body back on, press back down in. Done. Everything snaps back into place. All the contacts are right. Make sure that your truck's still swivel. If they don't swivel, that means something is in there wrong. And I'm done. So please like, share, comment, complain. I don't mind. I'll be more than happy to share my experience. I've got a few locomotives on the way. Had a great deal on them. So I'll have 4 more locomotives that will need complete repairs because they are not running at the moment. And the owner cut me a good deal. I don't mind fixing a locomotive for that price, especially since I know 3 of them are probably lifelike, so they'll be actually very easy to fix. It's usually a jumper wire, it just breaks loose, so it's just resolder in. And as soon as I get the money together for DCC decoders for one of those, I'll walk you through step by step on how to solder in a decoder in an N-scale locomotive, and it's almost as simple as this in a lifelike. All you do is you take I use Digitrax DZ126Z decoders. I place them on top of the rear weight. Since they only ever have a front light, run my blue and white wires to the front light, and then run my gray and orange wires to the motor contacts that pick up on the right and left hand side of the thing. I believe gray is for the same rail as the black wire comes off of. And from that, I just cut the leads going to the motor from the trucks and solder them to their respective rails directly on the decoder, and done. It's literally that quick and that easy. The only thing that takes time is just getting the solder. The one thing I would suggest is use the little brass loops that come on the top and bottom where the motor brush caps are to solder to. Sometimes they break and you want to solder directly to the brush caps. If you're going to solder directly to the brush caps, you want to pop them out first, because you will melt the plastic that holds the whole motor together just in a few seconds by touching that solder to that. They're brass, they conduct heat very easily. Well, enough of my rambling. You saw how quick and easy that was. I just did a DCC decoder swap back to a DC swap in less than, what, 7 minutes? Anybody could do this. This is simple. Soldering, a little harder, but still simple. Have a good one.